Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Black Wolf Gaming. As usual, I'm your host, Sir Wolf, and welcome back to our series on weird and wonderful creations. Today we are in Space Engineers, and we are highlighting a creation of my own. It is called the LifePod. I was watching something on TV recently, something sci-fi, and it got me thinking about escape pods and stuff like that. And I thought, it'd be kind of cool to have a good escape pod in Space Engineers. Well, this is my first attempt. As you can see, it is extremely basic. Seats 5 people. If I can get in here, come on, here we go. Seats 5 people. It has storage, conveyors, 2 reactors. It does have the ability, if I shut the door, this will pressurize in space. This is all completely and totally pressure safe and all that. It has a couple of timer blocks in the side because I thought I was going to be needing them because I'm one who loves timer blocks. I went ahead and I was going to use a system of rotors to actually have arms similar to the Mars rover. When it landed, it landed in a what was essentially a pyramid-shaped capsule covered in an inflated bubble skin. And the idea was that when it landed, it would come in with a parachute and stuff like that, but it would hit and it would roll and bounce and all that kind of fun stuff. And whatever position it landed in, when it opened up, it would automatically be in the correct position. If it landed on its side, when it opened up, it would, flower out and it would be good. And I thought that would be a really cool idea until I realized that this doesn't actually work quite as I thought it would, and it takes up extra room, and I thought, nah, it's not going to work. Excuse me. So here we are. This is the Mark III, I believe. This is the first iteration with parachutes, and it's also the first iteration with pistons. I used wheels down here. I thought that would look kind of cool. Use wheels like shock absorbers and have the parachutes and everything, and also included a piston on top that would actually attach to the mothership and would also act when deployed, because on the version before this one I had no parachutes. It actually helped act as a brake and kept an air brake and kept the capsule from flipping over. So I decided, okay, well, I'll add parachutes, stuff like that, and I thought that would be good. Well, unfortunately, the parachutes, I didn't consider the fact that physics doesn't quite work out, and it actually flips over and lands on its roof or on its side if the piston is still fully extended. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and, I'll keep trying. Now, and we ended up with this one. This one has parachutes at the top, which do slow it down very nicely. Ignore the little engine pod attached to the merge block in these two. I was testing them, dropping them from orbit, and when I was building and stuff like that and making improvements, I was in space and the things kept floating away. So I had to say, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and just add that little thing to the top. Well, anyway, with the pistons and stuff like that, coming down, you extend your pistons, you land, you can come down gently or whatever. I thought, okay, well, we're going to need to be able to get to it. So I added a little button panel here and stuff like that. I was also reading up a lot on the Russian Venus probe missions, and some of the ones that actually landed on Venus had what's called a crush ring, and basically it hits and it deforms, and it helps take some of the. It's a shock absorber. It helps take some of the hit. So I thought, oh, I know, I'll grind down the wheels, make them look like little crush rings. Oh, this is fun and dandy, and they do look good, I think, and all that kind of fun stuff. Except if you're landing like this and it's nice and wide open and flat and all that, you're golden. You're beautiful. This thing lands like a dainty little butterfly. You're safe. You hop out. All that kind of fun stuff. If you land on any kind of surface that's not perfectly flat, such as the ubiquitous mountains that are currently surrounding this little lake of ice in the sunshine, then you slide a lot and you roll and you flip and you end up taking damage and things fall off and engineers are lost, and then you end up at the bottom with a broken leg doing your best Thelma and Louise impression. And I thought, that's no good. So here we are, the final iteration, just as the sun goes ahead and throws it in shadow. This is the LifePod Mark 12. As you can see, I went ahead and I beefed up the button panel a little bit, which is, by the way, upside down. It's the only way I could make it work. And still be gotten to when the pistons are extended. I added landing gears so that whatever surface it sticks to or lands on, it sticks to. You have the option of moving it, but you don't have to. I also added atmospheric thrusters, which are currently off. But one of them, they're actually attached to one of those, either one or both of those sensors, so that they won't activate until you start coming in at a certain altitude. And it's just to help slow the whole thing down. I think they're also powerful enough to lift it off the ground if absolutely necessary, but it also comes equipped with thrusters all around. It does not have thrusters at the top or at the bottom, but it does have forward, backward, left, a little quick. Forward, backward, left, and right. And this way you can kind of go ahead and maneuver yourself around if necessary. If you deploy this in space, you have the option. You can go ahead and extricate your little life pod with your little 5-man crew and everything. You can get it out of the battle zone. I'm sure if you guessed, though, I am using just a couple of mods on this. I will have links to them. The seats I'm using, because I had issues with the in-game seats of actually teleporting me when I got out of the seat. It would actually teleport me outside. These do not, for the most part. It's happened once or twice, but pretty much they're good. So I said, okay, I'll use these. I'm using the gull wing door. It's part of the advanced doors mod. And like I said, I will have a link. These doors, by the way, are absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend them. If you're looking for that nice, small shuttle-style ship and you want something nice and curved, you don't want that just flat, straight up and down door that basic door Space Engineers gives you. These are definitely it. You've got the gull wing. You've got one that actually slides like in a curve back, and you have a glass one. The only problem with the glass one, in my opinion, I'm not trying to say anything bad, is it's hard to tell, at least for me, on my screen, hard to tell whether it's open or closed. And besides, this is a live pod, and I thought, maybe not. But like I said, I like them all. I highly recommend them. I will have a link. The other one I'm using is the emissive strips, just because I love this mod. These are so cool. They come in all different kinds of shapes and sizes and all that kind of fun stuff. Fully paintable and everything. And I thought they would look kind of cool as sort of power transfer wire things, because I don't know. I just thought it would look good. What do you want from me? There is a storage deck, right on the side here, so that is attached to the main one inside. So you don't actually have to go in and out every time you want to access your storage. Oh, there's also emissive strips in here. As you can see, there are buttons that will. I've got my HUD turned off right now, but let's see. Here we go. Retract and open. You hit a button and it will retract the pistons, open the door. Extend and close does the exact opposite. There is a light in here which is currently off. Oops, wrong button. Hit the right button, Wulfe. It comes equipped with 4 reactors because, believe it or not, running all this is power hungry. I had 2 reactors on here and did a full power test, and I'm very glad I saved the model because I ended up blowing out like half of my ship. I was like, oh. It comes equipped with an antenna, of course. Every life pod has an antenna. You need to be found. It comes equipped with the gyroscope, which which is locked as part of the landing procedure, if you will. Because I like to come up with an official procedure. It doesn't actually matter. But as part of the quote official procedure, as you're coming in, you lock the gyroscope to prevent prevent player movement from shifting it around and all that kind of fun stuff. The reality is you don't have to, but it's part of an immersion, and I like the immersion stuff. I've also got wolves looking at me, kind of, we are Black Wolf Gaming. But anyway, off topic. I will be putting this, I'll be putting the LifePod Mark 12, the final version with all the goodies and everything. I'll be putting it up on the workshop. I will have a link in the description along, like I said, with links to the mods I used on this build. A special thanks to the designers of the mods. Without them, it wouldn't be nearly as cool. So thank you everybody for joining me on this episode of Weird and Wonderful Creations. I'm your host, Sir Wulfe. This has been Black Wolf Gaming, and I look forward to seeing all of you again in the very next episode.